Let's get to the Perth Bears. They have made some significant signings, which we'll get to. But first of all, most importantly, boys, is their logo, their new logo. Do you like it?
Yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah. It's the same as what it was, wasn't it?
It looks the same to me.
I like it.
I do.
Yeah.
I like the heritage. I like the colours.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
what North Sydney delivered in our competition over a long period of time. I like it's been transported across to the West, and they've kept that heritage legacy piece and moved in the next direction. I don't think they got anything wrong there. I think it's pretty cool.
I agree. Keep it simple.
Yeah, well, they're going into an area, there's been a lot of conjecture, hasn't there, about, Perth and the team over there. And so the fact that they had the Bears name already and then straight away they engage the history, then already gives them a footprint, doesn't it, with the people that love North Sydney. And North Sydney, for a lot of people, were always their second favourite team, weren't they? Because they went so close so many times. I like it.
And I think it's one of the strengths of Mal too. I've been coached by him, and he does a really good job at connecting the history to the present and the future. And he did that, like the announcement with Florimo and Guy around Mal there. There's something that says that this team are doing all the right things, even though they're still 12 months away.
Yeah, I love it. With AI and all that these days, you never know what's going to happen with those logos. The Bulldogs did a new one not long ago. That was controversial, but
What's AI?
Hey?
What's AI? Can you explain it
Come
to
on,
me?
Kirby, you're a lot smarter than that, mate. All right, let's get to the roster. They have made some signings. Listen, it was always going to be tough for Mal and his team. It's not till 2027, so they've got another year still to recruit players, which they'll need to. Let's have a look at some of their signings. I've got them in front of you. You got them there, Coops?
Yep.
Just so you know. You've done
It's
your prep.
January,
I can see all
mate.
your notes.
It's January.
It's good to see you turned up.
It's got a big lead from 2001.
Big league still around. What do you boys think so far? I mean, Nick Meaney, Sean Russell, Harry Newman, the list goes on there. Tyron Wishart and Sexton, do they play in the half? Oh, well, Sexton will obviously at 7. What do you do with Wishart? And then the forward, Josh Curran's a real good signing, I believe. I saw Malawi, Smith, McDonald. So there's guys that are on the edge of first grade that are there, and some with his first grade experience, and they've got some key signings. None that really, if I'm being honest, jump out and, they're not X factor players, right? They're kind of guys that you look at that they're not quite going to win your competition, are they? So they got some building to do there.
Yeah, I really like the type of player that Mal's signing. You just spoke about being coached by him, and someone to me like Liam Henry is everything that I think Mal wants his footy side to look like. For anyone that's watched the lower grades of Canterbury, Luke Smith's another one of those. He's going to the London Broncos for 12 months, but had some time with Cameron Ciraldo's NRL team, but he's tough worker. Meaney's shown his quality at Melbourne. My understanding is Wishart's going there to play 9. Okay. That's my understanding. He wants to play 9.
What do you think? Is he a 9-6? What do you see him as?
I think with the way the current game is, I think he could definitely work at 9, but he needs time there.
Yep.
Like I think sometimes we see a fast runner, or someone that's really quick off the mark, and someone that's a good worker, and we just go, well, they can make it at 9. But then you just watch the actual art of that position when you watch someone like Blake Brayley and you watch Harry Grant, and just how important they are to their footy sides in terms of getting them up the field. And then most importantly, when they earn the right to attack and score points, they're getting the ball to the right players at the right time. You see,
Which is experience, right? In the position.
That's and exactly. So it's a great opportunity for him because he's been sitting there very patiently and done a great job for Melbourne with his versatility, but it's time for him and he wants to establish himself. The one that I really think that they could go after would be Cody Nikorima.
Yeah.
I just think Cody Nikorima's been so underestimated, and there's been so much celebrated, and rightly so, about Katoa. But I think Katoa, a lot of his education and a lot of his development and stardom, or his rise in stardom, has come off the back of having that experience of Cody Nikorima around him. I think he'd be a super signing for him.
Yeah, I think they're building from the ground up. Character over talent in the early stages, which I think is right. Like Meaney, Wishart, Henry, Curran, they're in my team. They just work hard. They're goers. Wishart could play anyway. He's just a competitor, which I think a new franchise just needs to see people like that as an example.
But where do you put him, Coops? It's a tough one because he's been 14. you know, really. And he's come and done a great job off the bench in the halves or 9 when he's needed to.
Mick
But
knows better than me about the 9 position.
would you see him as a half then? As a half?
Look, I think he could play 5'8" with a real controlling, dominant half. But I also like his flexibility of playing 9 and 6 as well. So he's just in my team. If I'm starting a new franchise, he's the type of player I'm going to get. And I like that they're trying to sort of build as opposed to trying to get that big all-star name that everyone wants to happen. Look, I'm not sure who's available. Like, I think in that list, like someone like a Patrick Carrigan or a Isaiah or a Cameron Murray, like someone that's like a really good example of what leadership and dominant forward play is. That's the type of player. But when I look at who's available, I think I would go down the path of getting 5 or 6 Queensland under-19s, New South Wales under-19s, New Zealand, Tongan players. Yeah, and going like, look, the Dolphins, Isaiah Cartel 2.0, like go and get 5 or 6 of those guys who have played a bit of rep football together and invest in them.
Yeah.
Get some hard heads around.
I think Mel, I've had a few chats with Mel working here at Fox and around Perth, and that was his intention. You know, it's obviously very hard. You know, he knows he's got to get. He wanted to get like-minded, like the guys you kind of talked about, and guys that had played together quite a bit too through the 19s, 17s, whatever it is.
I think that's a good move
with Queensland. So they've already got that relationship because they've got to move states, take their families, other side of Australia, and try and form a bond as soon as possible, right? So he wanted to get guys that actually, knew each other beforehand and had relationships.
Because everyone wants to see a big marquee player from Brisbane, Melbourne, Penrith, whatever, and bring them together, right? It's cool. It gets a headline. But I think if you're going to build this club for the ground up and be successful, I think a couple of those, cream of the crop, 19-year-old.
Do you think, I spoke with, on the last podcast, I mentioned it. Do you think the NRL should help them somehow, financially, or whatever which way, whether it's extra third party, whatever, to get a couple of big names there, Because I look at this and I've got to be honest, I'm thinking this is miles away. They're doing a good job with what they've got, but they're miles away. They're going to take years with the roster they've got there. And who they get? It's hard for us to even mention
We're still
who they get
away,
next,
right? Like I think there's a lot to play out to where we sit.
But they need 2 or 3 big guns to.
Yeah, they do.
If you look at the Dolphins, like they bought great character. Like they've got the Bromwich Boys and Felice Kafusi, and it went and got Tom Gilbert, who was that young but really led by example early at the Cowboys. But then all of a sudden they landed Hamiso, and Hamiso was that jersey seller. He was the one that the kids were all attracted to, and then they found Katoa. So they've got some real marquee guys there now. Herbie Farnworth came 12 months later. You're right, Braith. There's great character, and it looks like a good. Like these guys are going to compete every week.
What you said, that's the ingredients of a team, right? Some good hard edge character, a bit of superstar, some experience. Like you get the good mix of young talent coming through. And look, I think.
Do we think Tino would? The fact that they've signed Isaac for Asul Malawi is...
He'd be perfect. And Mal's after him. But again, he's at a club now that's struggled. He's probably going to see how they go this year with Josh and at the helm and see if they do improve like they intend to, because he wants competition.
It's a good play. The Isaac signing's a good play.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great play.
Of course.
Package deal.
All right.